You're listening to Hotepish with your intelligent ish talk, intelligent shit talk, where we balance the profound with the profane. Political satire, celebrity and expert guests, information and entertainment, conversation and solutions. Leave your feelings at the door.
What up, y'all? I am here. Hotepish, intelligent ish talk, intelligent shit talk. I am here with you, Dwan B. What up? Yeah, we are here. We are here to talk the news, and spread the blues. President Joe Biden, the person everyone said, hey, we must get Trump out. We must get Trump out. Oh, Trump is so bad. We just have to do something new. Oh my God, Trump is so bad. We just have to do something different because he's so bad. Trump wasn't signing executive orders to take our tax dollars to give the money exclusively to groups that are hateful and harmful to black people. We're about to get all the way up into it. We're about to get all the way up into this shit right here. Because I put up the full executive order. We're going to break this shit all the way down. But before we get started, I want to welcome y'all. What's up? Shabastin Shaw, Hank Stank. What's up, Jay Smooth in the chat room? Amari Mitchell in the chat room. What up, Jay Sanders, Emmanuel Heath, Deep Impressions. Salute to y'all. Link 2K1, Mickey Knox. Yeah, we are here. Brim Dog from Ohio. What up, man? Anytime I hear Brim, I'm like, I'm from South Central. I'm from South Central LA, so anytime I hear Brim, I'm like, oh, hey. What's up, the mentalist? B1 paid in full. Yeah, we're gonna get in talking about this, and I'm also gonna talk a little bit about my upcoming book, No Time to Waste, a self-motivation guidebook. And the reason why I'm going to talk about this book a little bit, because I have my webinar coming up, because when we discuss racism and the things going on here in America, we have to always remember that racism is a system meant to tie us down, but we also have the tools within us to become unbound and untied down and win regardless. Regardless of what these crackers do with their laws, we still can win. And my self-motivation guidebook is steps that I've taken to find the gifts within me, and they're tools that I've used over my 20 plus years working with others. They're tools that I've used for myself, and they've also been very effective tools working with other people on helping them find their gifts within. Because when you find your gifts within inside you and you cultivate those gifts, nobody can stop you. Racism can't stop you. Asian hate, whatever bullshit narrative they got going on, can't stop you. The prison industrial complex, none of these crackers, none of this shit can stop you when you know your gifts and you take the steps moving forward to cultivate those gifts within you. So I'm gonna give a partial breakdown of my book that's coming out in my upcoming webinar for those of you who want the book and want further guidance on getting into yourself and knowing who you are and how to find your gifts and how to cultivate those gifts into money. I have my webinar coming up May 2nd. The link is in the bio, in the description box. Go to my link tree and you will see the No Time to Waste Eventbrite. Buy a ticket. $30 ain't shit compared to finding your goals, because I charge $175 an hour for this. But a lot of people cannot afford $175 an hour. So I'm doing what I do at that rate for a much reduced cost. And it's only limited availability because I can't get to everyone. I don't want to do it on YouTube with everyone asking questions. So it's very limited availability so I can get to everyone. So sign up for the webinar now. And we're going to get deeper into this book after we finish talking about what's going on with Joe Biden. With Joe Biden and his side chick, come in your face, Harris. Yeah, that's that. I appreciate that. The mentalist is refreshing to hear positive motivation. Yeah, as a black person, look, we gotta stay positive, man, because the reason why white supremacy has to create all of these roadblocks for us. I appreciate that, Kevin Bryan. You got your spot. That's what's up. Yeah, you will get the book for free when you enroll in the class. But yeah, I have this going on because it's like, look, we as black people, we cannot be stopped. What up, Lady Hotep? They keep this system in place. They give reparations to other groups and not us because of how dope we are. The only thing standing in between black people and justice is black people not only knowing who we are, but knowing how to take, once we find out who we are, how to take that, bring it out of us, and monetize that shit. Because these other groups, they don't have what we have. They can't just create a genre of music that's going to take over the world like we have over and over again, like we have with jazz. with the blues, with rock and roll, with R&B, with heavy metal, with rock, with hip hop, with soul, with funk. You name it. If we create it, it takes over the world. If we say, okay, this is how the world is going to dress, that's how the world dresses. If we say this is how the world is going to talk, that's how the world talks. We have all of the things we need for freedom already within us. Capiche? We just got to find out how to mine that shit and get it out of us. Because these other groups, they know how to observe what the fuck we got going on. They know how to observe that and then put their bid in to make money off what we got going on. So, yeah, that's what the situation that we in. Yeah, we created techno music too. You're right, Antoine Fulton. We do need a code of conduct. All we need. But remember this. A code of conduct starts with the self. It starts with you. You have to have your personal code of conduct in order and in alignment before you move to the group code of conduct. Because if you don't hold yourself personally responsible for cultivating the things within you, how can you hold the group responsible if you're not doing what you're expecting others to do? Again, everything starts with the self. Everything starts with what's inside of you and how you perceive the world from within. There is no external pleasure. There is no external gratification. There is no external approval. You have to give that shit to yourself before you expect others to give it to you. That's why a lot of these other groups, they have all these little campaigns. Don't call me fat. Don't call me skinny. Don't call me gay. Don't call me this. Don't call me that. It don't matter what people call you when you know who the fuck you are. Oh shit, we just got to sign up for the self-motivation workshop class. I appreciate that. Thank you for signing up. Limited availability, so sign up now. As we get closer to the class, the prices will go up because there is a limited availability. The prices will go up. They won't come close to my $175 an hour I charge. But the week before, the prices will be up to $39.99 the week before the event. So get your tickets now while they're still cheap. Because the more signups we get, the higher this price is going to be, because I'm keeping it limited availability. It's not going to be open to everybody. So yeah, we here. So for those of you who don't know, this was sort of snuck in under our nose while everyone's talking about the coronavirus and all this shit. President Biden said, you know what? I got 50 million meal tickets. I got 50 meal tickets for the Asian community. None for you Negroes who've been dealing with this shit since day one. None for the people that got Biden in office. But we got 50 million in reparations for Asians. Think about this. There hasn't been any debate. There hasn't been any study. See, when it comes to us and HR 40, they're telling us we need to study reparations. And on this study, we're going to fill the people studying reparations with a bunch of coons. Coons and white supremacists is going to be on that board to study if we need reparations. They say if black people get reparations, even if black people do get reparations, it shouldn't be in the form of cash. What's up, Bosa Quinny? Thank you for joining the chat room. So let's get into it. I'm about to go over to the links. Oh, what's up, Harvey Wolf? I ain't seen you here in a while. You said YouTube unsubscribed you from the channel? See, YouTube be on that bullshit. That's why we gotta share the videos. I ain't seen Harvey in a while. See, YouTube be on that bullshit. When you talk that real stuff, they don't really want to push what you have going on. I appreciate the Cash App, Ali. I appreciate the Cash App donation. Now let me go ahead and flip over to show you what I'm showing. I'm about to read from you directly from whitehouse.gov. And like I always say before, do your own research. One thing I don't like is when I'll get somebody that has a comment on my page, like on Instagram or Facebook. Some of y'all, like, y'all inbox me or y'all comment right under the thread asking me to where I got the information from. Nigga, let me just tell y'all the truth. Just tell y'all 100. I've always been into information. Going back to when I was 8 years old. I followed when I was 7 years old, I remember following the Bush versus Dukakis presidential race in 1988. And I have a very good memory. When I'm told shit, I don't forget it. So when I'm dropping information, oftentimes I'm dropping information from shit that I've been remembering for 10, 20, 30 years. You look it up. See, people like information spoon-fed to them. Hey, I need to go directly here, and if you don't hold my hand and guide me step for step, then you must be wrong. Look here, motherfucker. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. I'm not here to sway opinions. I'm not here to tell people to think how I think. I'm here to present my point of view. And if you think my point of view is full of shit and you don't like it, then that's fine. I'm not one to want to argue with people over. Information isn't anything to argue over. If you're unwilling, because the people oftentimes that say, hey, where'd you get that from? Y'all, in my experience, this is my experience. In my experience, when I've taken time to give these people this information, they don't go look it up anyway. So I'm like, I done spent 10, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes going back to remember where I found all this shit, hand it over to people, and then motherfuckers still don't look it up. How do I know they didn't look it up? Because the next time I post something that's similar, they ask me the same goddamn question. I'm like, well, nigga, you didn't look up the last few times, and I got a job, and I got 2 businesses I run and all kind of other shit. I don't have time for this personal shit if you ain't gonna go look it up. And on top of that, the best information, a lot of the best information that you can get on things is not online. If you look, if you're the kind of person that thinks everything that needs to be known can be found on Google, you're lost. Google only gives you cliff notes of what's real. If you want to find out and did you know that Google browser is heavily, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's heavily censored. The Google, Firefox, Safari. Here in the United States, we live in a very heavily censored country. We don't think we live in a censored country, but we do. Only a handful of companies control all of the media that we consume. You have to go through browsers like Opera and other type browsers that have your IP outside this country for you to be able to visit certain websites that are outside this country where a lot of this good information exists. And on top of that, You got to be a reader. You got to buy books. A lot of stuff is in the books. It's in the books still, just like it was in school, no different. It's still in the books. And DwannBrown's not about to spend 45 minutes looking through books I done read, trying to find the exact page number for your lazy ass. All right? I'll point you in the direction, but after that, it is all on you. And if you think I'm full of shit, then there are 2 trillion other YouTube channels to follow. You dig? You dig? What y'all talking about in the chat room? Then man said, I'm not trying to argue. Argue what? I ain't here to argue with nobody. Someone said they searched reparations. Of course, if you use certain keywords and other thing. Keywords, y'all gotta learn how to use keywords. Y'all gotta learn how to search around things and through things. You're not gonna get exactly what you want through a direct search. You gotta know how to search other things. Or do what I do. Go right to the damn White House website. That's what I do. You see here, whitehouse.gov. That means, because when you go to a news source, the news source is going to spin it however they spin it. You have to be able to look up things yourself and see what it is and define it for yourself. Because when you're waiting on white America to define it for you, your ass is going to keep on waiting. It ain't going to happen. What is reparations? All reparations is repairing someone or a group of people after you've harmed them and taken from them in some sort of way. That's all reparations is. A lot of times people think reparations is a one-to-one connection with black people in slavery. No, it's not. Reparations is a general word that's used as a form of restorative justice. So anytime you see a group of people or an individual get money that's restoring an injustice, that's reparations. If you see the government give a group of people a program or something specifically to that group because that group was harmed in any kind of way, that is reparations. They are repairing something that went wrong. Okay? They are repairing something that went wrong. That's right, Ivor. Righting a wrong done to a group of people. That's all reparations is. So, since the media understands black people are looking for and expecting reparations, they're not going to necessarily use the word reparations when given to other groups. We have to do that. We have to do that. That's our job. And if you think I'm lying, WTDS, sit back and watch and listen. Or don't. Here we go. White House briefing room, whitehouse.gov briefing room, March 30th in the year 2021. too many Asian Americans, and I'm reading, and I quote, too many Asian Americans have been walking up and down the streets and waking up each morning the past year, feeling their safety and the safety of their loved ones are at stake. They've been attacked, blamed, scapegoated, and harassed. This is the quote from Joe Biden directly from March 19, 2021 on the whitehouse.gov website, March 30th, 2021. They've been verbally assaulted, physically assaulted, killed. The conversation we had today with the AAPI leaders and what we're hearing all across the country is that hate and violence often hide in plain sight. And it's often met with silence. That's been true throughout our history, but it has to change. Because our silence is complicity. We cannot be complicit. We have to speak out. We have to act. That right there is Joe Biden laying the groundwork for what he's about to do as far as giving money to help the Asian community. Everything that he said in here that Asians have been dealing with, according to him, only in the past year, are things black people have been dealing with in this country for over 400 years. Yet they have not drawn up any restorative justice specifically for black people. If you see people in the chat room for my mods, I'm not paying too much attention to the chat room. But if you see people in the chat room trying to take over the conversation, saying why black people don't deserve this, and they're trying to draw these false equivalences between black and Asians and their support, just time them out. And Zen Master, time yourself out, nigga, for real. You talk too goddamn much. God damn, it's a whole fucking article. I'm on the first paragraph, and this nigga asking questions instead of going to the goddamn website and reading it itself or waiting for me to get there. How can you learn if you running your goddamn mouth this whole time? Damn. I'm about to break this whole damn thing down. This motherfucker want me to jump to the end. If you want to jump to the end, go to whitehouse.gov and read it yourself. Or shut the fuck up and listen. God damn. I swear, Zen Master, I bet you got sent out of class every day when you was in school. He was a nigga when you was taking a test. He was a kid in the background making the noises. Hey, nigga, hey. I bet you Zen Master's real name is Cleotis. Hey, yo, Cleotis, man, can you be quiet? We taking this test. Then the teacher kicked. Hey, yo, Cleophas, man, you talking too goddamn much. You got to go to the principal. Man, the teacher always hating on me, man. Man, fuck that teacher, man. They always hating on me. No, nigga, you fucking up the rest of the class with your, because you can't sit still and shut the fuck up. God damn. I be seeing this shit because you see shit when you in the chat room. I don't look at the chat room too much when I'm on something. When I'm on a train of thought, I try not to look at the chat room because it throws me off. But every time I look up, this nigga asking questions. We 2 seconds into I'm probably gonna be in here for 2 hours. I'm 20 minutes in, and this nigga want the whole thing to be done and completed by now. God damn. Some of these niggas, are you attention starved, my nigga? This motherfucker, damn. Did the nanny bathe everyone else before the nanny bathed you? Cleophas? God damn. I literally gave out the website and this nigga asking me, I don't see where the money's getting. We getting there, motherfucker. We are about to get up into it. No, I'm not answering your goddamn questions. You don't get to the front of the line, Zen Master, because you talk a lot. Zen Master, if I call you out, it's gonna be to clown you, not to answer your questions. All right? How about I'm just gonna let you know right now. If I use your name in any kind of way, it's gonna be as a joke about your ADD. This nigga must have had an IEP. I know. I deal with kids with IEPs, man. I know how they go. Nigga, Mac, you don't have a one-on-one in this class like you did when you was in school. You got to sit in the class like everybody else. I'm not going to answer your questions directly. No. Sit back and listen. All right, back to the subject here. What's up, Butter Love? What's up, Dashe Lemire? What's up, One Punch Line? No, I'm not. One Punch Line, I'm not hungry. Your mama opened up her thighs earlier, and that filled me up. I'm good now. I was hungry before your mama came through One Punch Line, but she done served me up right. I'm good. My mind is sharp and ready to go. You dig? All right. Here we go. In this executive order, somebody hit thumbs down. All right, here we go. In this executive order, he's going in, like I said, I'm not going to read it word for word because it's pretty long. I'm not going to read it word for word, but let's get down to the funding part. Funding for AAPI survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. The Department of Health and Human Services is allocating $49.5 million from the American Rescue Plan to a new grant program for community-based, culturally specific services and programs for survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault who face additional barriers to services and safety, such as language access barriers. This program will expand services to domestic violence survivors from Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander communities. Last I checked, domestic violence and sexual assault is an American problem, but these people specifically are about to get money from our tax dollars to address their specific needs. Look, it's not that I'm against people getting specific money, because specific groups do have to be taken care of in specific ways. I know firsthand, all of my years working mental health, I would see the difference between, like when it came to our black clients, when it comes to us as black people, only black people, foundational black Americans, understand foundational black Americans. For real. Because we have a lot of unique circumstances within this country, but our unique circumstances are never specifically addressed. That's why the mental health institution, the way it is, doesn't work for black people. I always recommend, if you're going to get any kind of mental health treatment, you want to go to a black person, hopefully somebody that's on Dr. Wade Noble's, that's part of his lineage, his lineage of therapists that work specifically with black people. That's why you may have a cousin you may have a cousin or nephew that's in a mental health program specific on behaviors, but the kid doesn't seem to be getting better because there's nothing that culturally specifically addresses the needs of black people. But somehow Asians get to the front of the line when it comes to this. Asians get to the front of the line. This is where else that $49.5 million is going. To implement President week 1 memorandum combating xenophobia. The Department of Justice has established a whole agency initiative to respond to anti-Asian violence. Actions to date include leadership and coordination. The Department of Justice Civil Rights Division reconvened the department's hate crime enforcement and prevention initiative and is focused on the rise of hate crimes against the AAPI community. That's basically Asian and Pacific Islander community. That's what AAPI is. Asian and Pacific Islander. The initiative is reinitiating community outreach and engaged programs addressing gaps in hate crime reporting. So, the same country that has issues reporting things as hate crimes for black people. Remember, about, was it 2 weeks ago? About a month ago? There was a white man that raped and molested a black girl. Not only was he not charged with a hate crime, he was let go. Y'all remember that? I'm looking for the article right now. Oh, here it is. I found it. You know what else is funny about a lot of these motherfuckers that go around talking about something? Where did you get your information? Where's your source? Why don't y'all ever ask CNN about that? Motherfuckers let white folks lie to them all goddamn day. Never question it. Then the minute a black person got some information, you motherfuckers want to turn into Dick Tracy. Y'all ever notice that? You let ESPN, CNN, MSNBC, the LA Times, Chicago Tribune, these places that have a history of lying, on record lying. Look up Operation Mockingbird. They motherfucking told you the government come in and put people in key positions for the sole purpose of lying to you. And these motherfuckers will go and Google the same places that have told you they lie to you on purpose and be like, well, the white man said it, that must be what it is. And then the minute a black man say something, these motherfuckers turn in to investigative reporters. Finding niggas' home addresses. You can find out what car a black man drove 15 years ago through your research, trying to figure out if this black man is telling the truth. And then the minute the white folks say something, you be like, whoop, they said it, must be true. Niggas is hilarious. But you see here, there was a white man accused of raping and beating an 8-year-old black girl, fracturing her skull. And because he said he was mentally disabled, he got let go. But when it comes to us, no. When it comes to them, they gonna get specific departments addressing their issues. And if you notice, a lot of these issues they're complaining about, the majority of these issues come down to words. What somebody said that made someone feel a certain way. When black people face discrimination, the racism we face is literally a life and death situation. It's literally life and death. And if it's not as extreme as life and death, it's our ability to thrive and survive in this country. Our issue comes from not being able to live and thrive. See, when it comes to racism against black people, you have whole communities coming together to not spend money with black businesses. Let me see. Here it is. I found an article. I'm looking for this article on let me see here. Here we go. See, man, most of these articles now, they make you, most of these articles now, they have all these goddamn pop-ups. Damn, hold on one second. I gotta get this article for y'all. I got to get this article for y'all. Because it's going to bring in the context what we are dealing with. Because there was this, let me see, hold on one second, y'all. The two. Here, is this it? Here we go. Is this it? Here we go. See, this is the racism that black people have to deal with. Asians are talking about words, but look at how they treat black people when it comes to businesses. There was these two black chicks, black girls. They were the youngest to own a beauty supply store out in Riverside here in Southern California. And this is from LE.com, ELLE.com. They're going in and talking about how once the Asians who owned the supply chains that they bought their stuff from realized that they were black, the people of Korean descent basically stopped selling to them and told other distributors to stop selling to them. And if they did sell to them, they were bringing in the orders late, overpriced. You saw here the Asian community get together to target black girls, 16 years old. This was a big story back in 2019 when they had to shut down. Was there any government help to help these sisters when it came? When it came time, was there any help? To help these sisters from the government? Look at this. Youngest black women to own a beauty store in California went out of business because they were rejected by Korean manufacturers. See, these are the things as black people we have to always remember, because one thing the news will do, they'll say something one time and then it'll be gone and then we'll forget about it. And then they'll change the narrative. And when they change the narrative, they make it seem as if we the ones causing this shit. But all we got to do is remember what's already happened and bring that up. And remind people of what the real is. You see this here? But let's go back to Biden's executive order. Did you see Biden put together any executive orders for black people that are targeted by Asians and other groups economically to freeze them out in business? See, here's the thing. Hell yeah, black people are owed reparations, and God damn it, we gonna get them too. We gonna get them. We will get them if we stay the course. But we'd be in a hell of a lot better economic position and in less need of them. Although, like, let me full disclosure. For those of you casual racists that y'all hear me talk and y'all think, oh yeah, Dwan says things that we like because he doesn't like the Democrats. We need our goddamn reparations. And the amount of money a black person has, I don't care if he's worth $10 billion. That doesn't stop the fact that that black person worth $10 billion still needs their fucking reparations. Because if they worth $10 billion without reparations, they probably would have been worth $200 billion had y'all white asses not gotten in our way. But we'd be in a lot better economic position if we were just allowed to trade freely throughout this economy without being targeted by not only the government, not only by white society, but by other immigrant societies that have anti-black hatred coming from their home country, and they export that shit here to the United States. We'd be a lot further along if Asians weren't in our fucking way when it came to hair care products, all right? But you're not talking about restorative justice. Nigga don't hear. They said they're gonna have a whole goddamn online reporting agency. Look at this. This online tool will help communities, researchers, and advocates study and measure national hate statistics. The government is putting money up for this specific group who's been practicing the same racism against black people that white society has. $50 million. That $50 million they're talking about, all of that is to pay for all this stuff that we see here. That's a form of reparations. The Asian community isn't coming together. No one is saying, hey, Asians, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You get your own money and you create your own database. Nobody is saying that. The government is doing it for them as a form of restorative justice, aka reparation. Law enforcement training. Oh, here we go. The FBI will begin holding nationwide civil rights training events to promote state and local law enforcement reporting of hate crimes. These new civil rights trainings will feature modules on recognizing and reporting anti-Asian bias. The department's Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services is a field testing a new hate crime curriculum focused on law enforcement response, investigation, and reporting of hate crimes. The course focuses on increasing capacity and competency to investigate and accurately report all hate crimes, including those motivated by anti-Asian bias. Looks like Crime Bill Joe is giving more money to the police. Was it last summer all about defund the police? The police have too much power. The police have gotten all of these trainings, and in spite of all these trainings, in spite of all the money that they're giving, nothing seems to change with how they police. So the people said defund the police. Joe Biden said, nah, we about to give more money to the police. Look at this. Funding critical research to prevent and address bias and xenophobia against Asian American communities. The National Science Foundation is taking a comprehensive approach to investing in research to understand, address, and end bias, discrimination, and xenophobia, including against Asian and Pacific Islander communities. NSF is currently, anytime I say NSF, I'm thinking of the bank, non-sufficient funds. Niggas know what that NSF fees are. We wouldn't know much about NSFs if we got our reparations, but I digress. NSF is currently supporting more than 100 grants, that's free money, across the country, totaling more than $33 million of investments. These diverse researchers are advancing innovative studies to reveal new and more effective strategies for reducing the frequency and severity of discrimination experienced by historically underrepresented groups and reduce targeting of violence towards historically underrepresented communities and individuals, including specifically Asian American communities. This work continues NSF history of common support, fundamental research in vital areas. I want to go back to the part where it says more than 100 grants, totaling more than $33 million. Can you find that kind of coin in grants that address specifically the problems and racism that Black Americans face? See, when it comes to Black people being discussed, they'll say Black on the headline, but as you go through it, it's going to be talking about underrepresented groups, minorities, basically anything Black, Asians get too. Anything Black, Hispanics, Latinos, white women, trans, every other group gets a piece of the pie when Black is in the title. Because when you go into the wording of things that are Black, the wording always comes out. The wording always comes back to everybody get a piece. They'll say Black in the title, but when it comes time to fix things, everybody else is included when it comes to us. When it comes time to fix their problems, other people's issues, they get specifically money handed to them and them only. It sort of goes back to what something I like to say sometimes, like, this is what let me break this down in more simpler terms when it comes to Black people sharing benefits and others getting things exclusively. See, when other groups get things exclusively for them that we don't get to touch, that puts a stick in that group's hand, a stick that we don't have. Example, when they come to America, they get funding, they get stores on consignment. You think these Indians are just coming up here opening up gas stations because they smart? No. America has programs that they train these people on the jobs that in the industries that they'll control back home. So when they get to the United States, they get things on consignment. They get benefits that are specifically for them. What that does is it gives them a stick. Circle around when it comes time to give things for Black people. You'll see Black or African American in the title. But when it comes time to get into the details and spread the money, that money goes to everybody, including the groups that already got benefits specifically for them. I have people in the chat room asking me, they must be late, asking me where it specifically says that. Pull up the goddamn article yourself and find out. All right? Again, I'm not here to appease people who want, when it's time for a black man to give information, you want everything spoon-fed to you in great detail. And then the minute MSNBC says something, you just take it for face value and walk off like that's the truth. I ain't here for that. Matter of fact, I encourage people to look up what I say themselves. It just makes me look more credible. Because at that point, you're not relying on me. You're using your own brain. And once you use your own brain and see what I saw, you be like, oh, that nigga was right. Black people need to stop all that shit. When a black person give information, you want to all of a sudden become Andy the accountant, analyzing every goddamn thing. But let Rachel Maddow say it. It's the motherfucking truth. We're not here for that. We're not here for that. We're not here for that. Again, DwannBrown here at Hotepish Intelligent Ish Talk. I am not here to convince anybody of anything. I am not here to change anyone's opinion. I'm not here for agreement. I'm a very secure individual, secure within myself. I don't need co-signers for my thoughts. I'm just here to point people in a direction. And if what I'm saying has any interest in you, you then take it from where I'm going and you expound on it further in your own time. And if you draw a different conclusion than what I draw, that's fine too. 7 billion people on Earth means there's 7 billion different opinions. Means there's 7 billion different ways of looking at the same thing. So if your conclusion to what you read fully is different from my conclusion, that means you go to your YouTube page. We all have one since we're on here. And you do a broadcast on what you conclude from what you read. And guess what? You will not see me in the comments arguing with you, because I'll be like, oh, they read that and that's what they think? Cool. If they think that way, I'm sure a bunch of other people think that way too. Be secure within your own thoughts. Be secure within your point of view. Truth does not need to be validated by anybody else's ignorance. Now let's go do a side-by-side. Let's do a side-by-side of how Biden treats black people versus how he treats Asians. He's earlier this year, back on January 26th, and I did a full broadcast on this. If you go back and look it up, I did a full broadcast on this because you know me. I stay on this whitehouse.gov website. I look at everything these bastards is doing, and I don't wait on the news to tell me their interpretation of what's going on. I speak directly to I go read directly from the horse's mouth. Here's something that he signed earlier this year on racial justice. You see how he gets in and talking about George Floyd. Talking about George Floyd's family. Goes into talking about what black people are suffering from. But when it comes to the solutions in this executive order, you can look it up yourself. I'm not going to read the whole order. I did a full broadcast on this. You'll get down to when it's talking about the solutions. It ain't talking about nothing specifically for black people. It mentions George Floyd in the beginning, but it says, look, and towards the end, I'm directing federal agencies to combat research of xenophobia, particularly against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. That's another stick for Asians in a bill that's supposedly for black people. So what happens if you don't have a stick in your hand and the government gives you one stick, but they give an additional stick to the other people? Now the Asians have two sticks to whoop your ass and you only got a half of one. What odds do you have if they have two full sticks and you got half of one stick? Because you black and we talented, we still could beat their ass because, hey, we black. We got all the talent. That's why the government only want to give us a half a stick. We still could win. But it makes it that much harder. It makes it that much tougher. And the reason this is a problem is because, according to Joe Biden, it was a black vote in Georgia that won him the presidency. It was a black vote in Michigan, specifically out of Detroit, that won him the presidency. So I ask you a question. Is this too much to ask? If a specific group of people who voted for you, 9 out of 10 of that specific group voted for you in these key swing districts, key swing states, does it stand to reason that the group that got you in take priority when it comes time to hand out the benefits? And here, look, it's another one that he had done just for Asian Pacific Islanders back on January 26th. Go to whitehouse.gov. It's full. This website is full of shit. Well, it is full of shit. But it's full of information telling you what the Biden administration has already done, signed, for different groups of people. Oh, here, Biden did sign something for black Americans on Black History Month, about Black History Month. But nowhere in this is talking about the devastation among black Americans who are dying, losing jobs, closing businesses at a disproportionate rate. But it ain't talking about no money for restorative justice. If you go back and read this executive order by Joe Biden on Black History Month, dated February 1st, 2021, he's telling you he knows and acknowledges what black people have been going through in this country, not just for a year, but historically. But he talks about a time for reckoning, redemption. But look at the last word, hope. When it comes to Asians, they have dollars. $49.5 million from the American Rescue Plan. They have, and this isn't even, look, this is for domestic. Ain't domestic violence some shit that happened in your own home? So if an Asian is facing domestic violence, it's a good chance it's another Asian that's causing the domestic violence, because people marry and hang around their own kind. So why do my taxes have to go to rescue them with their internal issues when the same government is talking about black issues, yet there's no money to combat the issues black people are facing. You see the difference in treatment, black people? When black people's problems come up, we're just going to acknowledge and talk about it. When Asian problems come up, we giving money. See the difference? This is a side by side from the same goddamn website. Share this to your Votep friends. Anybody other than Trump? We just got to get Trump out of office. He the worst thing that ever happened to us. I was on this same damn website when Trump was in office. And Trump wasn't signing all these goddamn executive orders. Donald Trump was a lazy motherfucker. All Trump wanted to do was sit on Twitter and talk shit. Biden is signing executive orders that put more weapons into the hands of those who don't already like us. With the Asians now knowing they have the government on their side that's specifically creating task force to help them out, and they don't already like us, does it stand to reason? Let's just follow me here. Let's talk some reason here. Does it stand to reason that Asians can then now antagonize black people? And when a black person responds and says what they says or beat their ass or whatever, that black person is then charged with a hate crime? Because when it comes to them, crimes against Asians, look at this. This is an example right here. This is getting national news when it comes to them. They're getting national news coverage because someone yelled something. Black people don't get national coverage when somebody yells something. Hell, it takes a lot for a black person to get coverage. Black people don't get national coverage when the black woman gets beat in one of their nail salons. Shit happens almost every goddamn day. But they get national coverage from somebody yelling. This is what you vote in when you say anything other than Trump, and you don't take time to look under the hood to find out what that anything is. This is what you get. Look at this. Cause let's take it back to this interview right here with Kamami Harris. Fair Use Act. I am on YouTube. About to play a video from her interview with the Griot. Listen to this.
Again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination and segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act.
Listen to what she just said there. We have to recognize that and do something. She didn't say what the something is, did she? She just said, do something. Let's keep going.
Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit black children.
There she is. She's talking about a Lift All program. The person asked, okay, you're not talking about anything specifically for black people. She's like, well, it'll help black people if we just do this general plan. Let's keep going.
Black families, black homeowners. Because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this. Any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that.
And she's halfway telling the truth. Any benefit that benefits black people will benefit society. Why? Because black people, when we get shit, we're the only group in America that shares. Let me say that one more time. Black Americans are the only group in America that shares. Go into a black-owned establishment. You'll see Mexicans working in the back. A black person don't have any issue buying from an Asian distributor. A black person don't have a white lawyer, a Middle Eastern accountant. Because when we get money, we don't keep it in-house. We spread it. Because we're secure within ourselves. We don't see other people as so much of a threat we got to take from them. So when we win, yes, other people do win. But these other people are so racist against us, they'll whether not see that just so they can keep their foot on our necks. Let's keep going.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
No.
What?
Look at her. Hey, look. Peep this bitch's body language. Do you see how rough and tough she got? You see how bold she got? It's like, as she said, she's not going to do anything specifically for black people. Her nuts dropped. Shit, Kamala Harris is acting like she got a set of balls. A big pair of brass Indian balls. Look at this shit again.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people.
Look how she riding and shaking. You see that? You see the shake? You see how she moving and shaking like, yeah, nigga, I ain't doing shit for you. Matter of fact, peep my body language to confirm I ain't gonna do shit for you. Look at this shit again.
Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No. Because whatever benefits that black family will benefit.
But then we switch here, and your Asian vice president ain't had a goddamn thing to say when it came to allocating $50 million of our tax dollars specifically to Asians. She bucked the fuck up when it came to talking to us. But I don't hear her bucking up when it came to specifically giving direct benefits to Asian Americans. This the shit we gotta stand up to, black people. Instead of your black corny ass coming into my chat room talking about something, I need to know the specifics. Show me where they getting the money. Instead of you coming to my chat room talking about, well, I need to know all the things in this. How about you use that same energy on these people that the black vote got them in the office? Don't come to me saying black people are sitting around waiting. That's another thing. Here's another thing that pisses me the fuck off. It's these niggas that come around saying just because we as black people are talking about what we deserve for a country that we created and continue to pay taxes to, when we come in talking about us getting our fair share back, you always got some niggas coming around, man, well, I ain't waiting on no reparations. I'm going to go ahead and get it myself. While they go back to their county job. Look, this is specifically to you idiots that think like that. People can do two things at once. Matter of fact, you should be able to do more than two things at once, but we can do at least two things at once. At least. When it's time to do politics, you can demand your fair share while waking up every day and going out and creating your life and your destiny for yourself. One does not exclude the other. Again, you can demand reparations and your fair share from the country that you currently pay taxes to and historically built while getting off your ass and building and creating a life for yourself. They're not competing ideas. There is no one without the other. You get off your ass every day and create a life for yourself while when interfacing with your elected officials, demanding specific benefits for your group. You can do both. And I would like for everyone listening to take that. When you hear someone coming to you and they tell you, well, you just sitting around waiting, I'm doing, no, dumbass. If you're going to participate in politics, do it the right way. And I'm with the people. I'm also with those who don't participate in anything politically. I have no issues with those people. Because some people are like, look, these motherfuckers is crazy, they corrupt, I ain't dealing with none of it. I ain't got no issues with that. And because I understand your point of view when it comes to that. It's just that when I'm talking politics, I've always been a person that's been politically engaged. Like I told y'all, I was a person that my mom had me at the city council meetings, Los Angeles, California. Nate Holden was over our district. Maxine Waters was our local congresswoman before she went national. I've been going to meetings that Maxine Waters has been throwing since I was fucking 7 years old, 1988. So you got a lot of people who just heard about Maxine Waters when she went on the internet when she became Auntie Maxine. I was there back in 1988 when she was locally doing things here in LA. So I've always been politically engaged. If you're going to be politically engaged, do it right. Do it right.
Or not do it at all. I don't mind, but don't be sitting around telling me, well, we need to vote. We had to get Trump out of office, and you 40, and you in your damn 40s and 50s, 30s. You should know better. Black people have faced far, far, far worse than Trump. Now you got somebody in office who's doing these things specifically to undermine the black population further. Let's not get it twisted. The reason why these other groups, Asians specifically, and Latinos are getting direct benefits from the government and you're not, is because the government is specifically putting them higher in the racial hierarchy than you. And this is something the Democrats have been doing under black people's noses for the last 60 years. The Democrats are the party of slavery. They have not changed. They've never changed. The Democrats have not changed since 1860. Let me say that one more time. The Democrats have not changed since 1860. Let's go back. Think I'm bullshitting? You know how devious the Democrats are? Go back to the election of 1876. I reference this election a lot. Because the Democrat Tilden, they say won the election, but it was a very, very close election. Some people said it was for the Republican Hayes. Some people said it was for the Democrat. Some counts, not people, the counts. Some counts gave it to Rutherford B. Hayes. Other counts gave it to Tilden. So what the Democrats said was, okay, we'll give you Republicans the presidency as long as when your Republican president gets in the office, they do the one thing the Democrats want the presidency for, and that's to end Reconstruction. Reconstruction is that period in time to where black people were, for the most part, left alone. And when we were left alone, we rebuilt the South. We went from a 0% literacy rate to over 50% literacy rate. We had our own schools, our own train lines. Yes, black people had trains in the 1870s. We were coming up too fast. It was the Democrats that said, nah, fuck that shit. End Reconstruction. And that's what they did. And then we can go back to the election of 1960. When the Democrats black people were solid on the side of the Republicans like Roosevelt. That's when the Democrats decided to flip and take on a more Southern strategy. Actually, the Republicans, a lot of the white Republicans were getting disenchanted with black people getting so many benefits. The Democrats saw that. They saw that schism within the Republican Party. So they sort of switched and in 1960 started quote unquote embracing black people.
They weren't embracing black people to change our political position. They started embracing black people because they saw the schism in what was going on in the Republican Party. Black people were disenchanted and so were Republicans. So they got to get a whole bunch of votes, black votes, when they ran Kennedy in 1960. Because Nixon was supposed to win that election, but niggas wasn't fucking with Nixon like that the way black people fucked with Roosevelt. If black people voted Republican traditionally the way we had in 1960, Nixon would have been the president then, not Kennedy. They used Kennedy to usher in the Democrats and black people. But remember this, it was also the Democrats who supported the benign neglect policy that basically said we're not going to talk to the black people about anything specific. So they started talking black on top while continuing their subversive undermining of black society. Go back and watch my broadcast last week on Title IX, Women's Sports. How that was funded from the Civil Rights Movement. When the Democrats wrote up all this quote unquote civil rights legislation, they baked in the cake the bullshit. They wrote black on the top, minority, people of color, women, Native American. They wrote all that shit in the details of all the civil rights legislation that they created. They wrote that and baked that bullshit in the cake from the beginning to get to where we are right now. Because remember this, governments don't move in 4-year plans. Only the electorate do. That's for us dummies down here on the bottom. We think in 4-year terms. The government plans in 25 to 50 year increments. 25, 50, and 100. When they plan their debauchery, their bullshit, they're saying this is where we're going to land in 50 or 60 years. And they have the people thinking 2 more years. If we can get to 2 more years, we can get a Congress that's going to support our side. And in 2 more years, if that president don't like, we'll get a new president. And then in 4 years, if we don't like that president, we're going to get another president. That's all. That's for the people on the bottom. The government sees things in 50, 25 year, 100-year blocks. So in 1964 Civil Rights Act, when they wrote in Asian Americans, Native Americans, minorities, people of color, women, that was to neutralize the long-term effectiveness of civil rights when it comes to black people. Black people, of course, a lot of black people got a lot of things initially because in 1964, 68, 71, it wasn't that many Asians here. It wasn't that many Latinos here. So black people got the immediate benefits from that civil rights legislation. But these crackers knew 1 generation. That's it. 1 generation of black folks is going to get this. And then they're done. The baby boomers was that 1 generation. They got it and then basically fucked it off. And didn't hold it for us. They got it and then they became forever indebted to the Democrat Party, telling us millennials, Gen Xers, and millennials to vote blue no matter who. Because this is the party that gave us everything that we got. Not understanding that that party wrote in its original application benefits for the children of these other groups. I'm a millennial. I'm a child of the baby boomer generation. millennial Mexicans, millennial Asians now benefit millennial white women, millennial Russians, millennial Indians, the fake ones, of course, not the real ones, the ones who are documented. They now benefit. And it's not by happenstance. It's not by coincidence. That was the original plan to begin with. Remember what Lyndon Baines Johnson said? He said, if I get these black people to support, if I get them these civil rights and all of this welfare, they're going to be supporting the Democratic Party for another 60 years. And God damn it, was he right. Because black people vote off faith. We don't spend any time looking at the details. Black people vote off feeling good. We've been oppressed for so long, we just want to feel good. Not understanding that these elections have consequences. So while Bill Clinton made black people feel good that he was in office playing the saxophone, he signed Joe Biden's crime bill. While black people were feeling good while Obama was in office, Obama expanded civil rights to include transgenders and gay rights. Another group of people who are traditionally hostile to black people. Why do governments give these other groups more tools to beat us over the head with and not just give it to us? Because it expands the government control of the society. You're dealing with groups of people who have no self-esteem. We ain't the only ones with lack of self-esteem. These other groups got it too, and they got it worse. Because these other groups got whole ass countries that they can go to and build if they really wanted it like that. But they don't have the self-esteem and the self-confidence to rebuild and build where they came from. They don't have the confidence to build and defend their countries. So they come here. And they get what Dwan calls confidence through proximity to whiteness. Let me say that one more time. These other groups, their confidence comes from their proximity to whiteness. They don't say, United States, you dropped nuclear bombs on our country. They don't say, United States, remember that former President Roosevelt? As a matter of fact, there were two different Roosevelts as presidents. They were cousins. And one of the Roosevelts married his other cousin, Eleanor Roosevelt. That ugly bitch. Their grandfather, the two Roosevelts, one of them's grandfather, the other one's uncle, he was the man behind pushing opiates into China out of India and getting China hooked on opium back in the 1800s and 1900s. These Chinese people don't say, you pushed them opiates on us beyond and you infiltrated our government and had them legalize opium when our government was against it. They don't say you took Hong Kong from us, the port responsible for the wealth that goes into that nation. They don't say that. Latinos don't say, hold on, we wasn't speaking Spanish before you white motherfuckers came here. We were speaking indigenous languages. We want our indigenous status back. They say, oh no, this was Mexico. Look, goddammit, it was only Mexico for a handful of years. That's why I don't ever go for that crap. California was Mexico. Guess what Mexico was? Another conquered place by Europeans. The natives didn't call it Mexico. They didn't name it Mexico themselves. They didn't just start speaking Spanish through osmosis. They were just conquered by a different set of Europeans who got there first. They don't go in on the people who fuck them over. They buddy with these people. And they get a higher ranking within the society over on how they mistreat us. The thing that brings these other minority groups together, including the coon Africans and Caribbeans. I ain't talking about all Africans and Caribbeans. I'm just talking about the coon ones, which is a lot of y'all. Not all of y'all. Definitely not all of y'all. Definitely not all of y'all. Because the ones who aren't like that are the ones listening to the program. But y'all cousins, y'all know them niggas. What brings them together is their mistreatment of black Americans. And this isn't anything new. Same in the 1800s. I say all the time, the Irish weren't considered black. The Italians, white. The Irish weren't white. The Italians weren't white. The Eastern Europeans weren't white. They were an other ethnic class when they came here in the late 1800s, early 1900s. How did they get their white status? By shooting up the Negroes. The more they harmed us, the closer they got to white. And then in the 1930s, they were accepted into the white class, given benefits. Now we look up and we just see all of these people running around here as white when they know their own fucking grandparents were mistreated by the same white folks that treated these white folks like shit. Instead of them saying, hey, the black people didn't do nothing to me. It was you white people that was fucking us over, not the black people. What I'm saying is, we're dealing with groups of people who have no courage. And again, this isn't everyone. This message applies to who it applies to. If what I'm saying hurts you, then you might need to look in the mirror. But if you can listen to this objectively, you know if I'm not talking about you, you know I'm talking about your cousin, your mom, your dad, your aunt. Y'all know the bullshit, debauchery that goes on within y'all society. Y'all know the anti-black racism that goes along in your society. I don't need to repeat this shit. You know. I'm not going to sit here and muddle my words in support of black people out of fear of offending a group of people who've never stood up for us. You see what's going wrong, but you don't do nothing. We all see the problem. We all see what's going on. And if you the person that sits idly by, then that's your choice. But I'm not here to make you feel better. Here's something else for people that's listening. If you got that person that wants to come around you and say, hey, we all ain't like that. Well, you don't talk about us because, it's the white folks doing these things to you, not us. It's them other people. Here's some game for you. Don't go back and forth with these people. You tell them, well, if you want to police any group of people, police your group causing this shit. Don't come to me trying to modify what I say. Go fix your group. Because the more you fix your group, the less I'll have something to say. How about that? How about that? Don't let them police you. Return that bullshit to sender and tell them to police their own group. And if they're unwilling to if they're more willing to police you, then they're willing to police their own group. That tells you right there how they feel about you relative to their group. See, a person that's really down with you, they ain't got no issue going back to police their group because they know their group is on a bunch of bullshit. But if they're more willing to police you than the group that they come from, then that tells you all you need to know. That tells you all you need to know about how they really feel about you. Because in communication, remember this, words make up less than 8% of all communication. Did you know that? Words make up less than 8% of communication. Body language makes up the rest. Nonverbal communication makes up the rest. How do people communicate to you non-verbally? Through their actions. What do they do? Not what they say. What do they do? So if they tell you one thing and doing something else, believe what they're doing, not what they're saying. That's how you get down to what my grandmother said, the nitty gritty. Aretha Franklin said that. Get down to that old nitty gritty. Rest in peace, Aretha Franklin. You get down to the nitty gritty by watching what a person does. People are full of shit. They lie really easily. So remember that. When we talking politics, it's not what they say, it's what they do. As you see here, when it came to black folks, Biden had a lot of words to say. When it came to Asians, he had money to back up what he says. Because a true apology is reparation. If you really apologize to someone, you repair the damage that they caused. If you get in a car accident with somebody, an apology is not enough. You better have some fucking insurance that's going to repair the damage you caused. And through the insurance money that repairs the damage caused, that there is the apology. Saying I'm sorry and continuing the bullshit is your way of fucking with me. You playing with me now, homie. You ain't real. You ain't serious. How does this all, again, let's end this how we started it. How, because y'all know me, I'm always about solutions. How do we solve this? We solve this by being more politically astute, asking the right questions, and through solving our own problems. Look at what's going on politically, but get into yourself. Solve your own problems. Start with you. You start solving your own problems by doing the things in life that make you happy, that you enjoy. And then taking that, the things you enjoy, the things that make you feel good, and monetizing it. Becoming skilled at something. And selling that. Because when you really skilled at something, when you really good at something, can't nobody stop you. Charge your own fucking price. Can't nobody get in your way. We as black people, we're very skilled. We have a lot of talent. We have to learn how to mine our talent and make it pay off for us. Because our talent is making Asians rich. Our talent is making all of these other groups that have issues with us rich. They're the ones going around recreating our music, our walk, our talk, our style, our swag. They don't have it. We do. We got to mine our own talents. And this is something that we can do now. We got to get our confidence up. Because when our confidence is up, you don't need to go down to their hair care stores and buy their hair. When your confidence is on 100 where it should be, I'm not against people who buy weaves and wigs. But the weaves and wigs will become more of you deciding, hey, I just feel like changing my look up right now versus a need. Right now, the whole hair care thing is a need because the confidence our confidence ain't on 100 as a people. Let's just tell the truth. Our confidence is lacking. So when your confidence is lacking, you then need to step outside. You feel the need to step outside of yourself to validate yourself instead of validating yourself from within. And that's what my book, No Time to Waste, a self-motivation guidebook, is about. It's my years of experience helping people find the internal motivation to meet the goals and desires that they have already inside of them. Y'all know how it is. We all go to bed at night and we get these, we as black folks, we know, we hear it in conversation all the time. We always get these ideas and then be like, man, one day I'm going to do, boom, fill in the blank, whatever it is. And you feel good. You thinking, man, if this thing works, I'm going to be able to leave my job. And then I'm going to do it this way. And then I'm going to do it that way. But then you allow time to go by. And when you allow that time to go by, you become less motivated to do the things that the very idea that you felt 10 minutes ago can spark you and be your liberation is now the thing that burdens you because you're thinking, oh man, I can't get that done. What if I don't have the money? What if people don't buy it? Man, shit, I'm just going to go ahead and go back to work. And you take your ass back to a job that you don't even like and you suppress the dope, genius ideas that you have within you. And you trade that for a few dollars an hour to go to a job you don't like. That's the cycle that we as a people have to get over. I'm not saying you have to open up your own business. Opening up your own business is not for everybody. I get it. But you can have a specialty that your job needs and be a specialist, be a contract worker, or even work within the field that does what you need. Because when you do what you know you want to do, when you do what's great inside of you, you then can charge a higher ticket price because you're so goddamn good at it. And you're not confined to this small little box, this small environment to provide your daily bread. Because even though you may have a job, if your talent comes first, you can leave that job and use that talent in other job environments. It all comes back to starting with yourself, being self-motivated. That's why I wrote this book. What's the solution? The solution's inside of you. The solution isn't, oh man, we need another Malcolm X. Look, we have Malcolm X. We have Marcus Garvey, Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King, Frederick Douglass, Fannie Lou Hamer, Ida B. Wells. I can go down the line. Black people, we have gotten all of the teachers that we need, that we could ever have. At some point, it goes beyond teaching and you just listening to somebody making you feel good, and it goes to you getting off your ass and doing it. Malcolm gave us the answers. So did Martin. Stop arguing over which one was better and take from either one the things that vibrated with you, cultivate that, and do something with it here on earth. That's what this book is about. That's what my webinar is about, coming up May 2nd. The book will become available after the webinar, but if you join the webinar, the book will be free. I'm going to give y'all a slight little small insight into the book on making decisions. This is only going to be one page. I'm not going to get too deep into it because the webinar is going to get us much deeper into this. 3 decisions that will shape your life forever. Decide what your primary focus is for each moment of your life. Decide how your situation affects you, and decide what you should do now. When you stressed out over something, when things ain't clicking right, when things ain't all the way right, these 3 decisions that you make in the moment will immediately change how you feel in the short term and the long term. The hard part oftentimes is deciding what you want your primary focus to be. And in the chapter before this, I break down how to find that. Because we as a people are dope. Our biggest issue is a lack of confidence in ourselves. So if you sign up for the webinar now, you will get it at the discounted rate, $29.99. The rate will go up the week before the webinar because I have very, 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 very limited seating because I want to personally interact with everyone in the webinar. And we'll also have a group chat after the webinar is over for a month to where we can then follow up with each other, how we're doing. Because I feel that sometimes it's hard to start alone. But if you're ready to start, if you're ready to get off your ass and do that thing that's been bugging you in your heart, sign up for this class and we're going to work together on fixing this shit. We got to do this shit ourselves. We got to do this shit ourselves. You do not need white approval. You only need the approval of you. When you approve, that's all that matters. Okay? That's the solution. Get off your ass, do what you do, and then within doing what you're doing, when it's time to go do politics, do what's right by your group. Y'all got any questions before I get up out of here? We're going to be live on Craig Facts today, 4 o'clock. Craig Smith YouTube channel. Grown ass men talking about some real grown ass shit. Jack Jones, where do you sign up? Ask where you sign up. Great question. In the description box, you see my link tree. In the link tree, it has the Eventbrite for my class. It is in the description bar. And then when this broadcast is done, I'm going to pin the Eventbrite link in the comments. But for now, go to the description bar and you will see the Eventbrite sign up for this course. Sunday, May 2nd. And if you cannot make it Sunday, May 2nd, I will keep the course up for you to go back and view it later and download it and purchase it later. I will keep the course up. But if you want my personal attention and for us to do this together as a group, you got to be in the live course. I'm not going to, the taped course will still be there for you, and it will help because you'll get the benefit of hearing the questions that people asked and apply them to yourself. But if you want to be the one asking the questions, please sign up for the webinar event. Because like I said, I am here not just to run my goddamn mouth. I am here to help. But I can only help through the things that I've done myself to get to where I've gotten. None of my help isn't conceptual. My help isn't, I think this, I think that, maybe you should. My help isn't going saying, now I quote other people a little bit, but my help isn't saying, go do this, go do that. No. My help is saying, this is how I got myself out of the rut when I was in it. And this is how I got hundreds upon hundreds of other people out of their ruts. Except for my company, at my company, Breakthrough Advocacy Services, I charge $175 an hour for this. I understand everybody cannot afford $175 an hour. I get that. So I have these courses that are open to larger groups of people at a much smaller rate than $175 an hour. Because at the end of the day, all it comes down to is getting this shit done. For those of you who need personal focused attention beyond that, of course, I still have my company, Breakthrough Advocacy Services, where I can provide that. But I'm here to say, hey, look, this is what I've done. This is how I've helped groups of other people offline. I'm bringing what I've been doing offline for over 20 years online. For those of you who like to troll and say, well, what are you doing to help the black community? Pause, homie. I got over a 20-year track record of doing this. It just wasn't done online. The real shit that gets done to help us as a people, very little of it gets recorded on TV. The real niggas is out there doing the work, and that's me. I'm bringing my real life experience and work and tools that have worked already. I'm bringing that online for a larger audience to then benefit from, because it's not good enough to just talk about racism. It's not good enough to just talk about how white people are doing us wrong. It's not good enough to sit around sulking and crying and complaining about a system that doesn't benefit us. It's not good enough. It's only the first step. Awareness is the first step, not the only step. Once you become aware, what do you do about it? I'm all about the doing part. Okay, now a nigga done made you aware. Okay, cool. How are we gonna fix it? And that's a good comment right there. He says, we push for reparations, to be clear, do not have it sent through these dumbass organizations, especially the NAACP or CBC. You goddamn right about that. Because those are the organizations, the NAACP specifically, they're the ones who watered down the Civil Rights Bill from being money for black people to basically being everything and programs for everybody. What else y'all talking about in the chat room before I get up out of here? You're right. Hit that like button. It don't cost you anything. Share. Hit the Cash App if you so feel. I appreciate those who have hit the Cash App to this point. Oh, Florida Culture, hit the Cash App. Thank you, my brother. Yeah. Someone asked, where can you send my music? Don't send your music to me. I'm not the person to send music to. I do have my playlist. I want y'all to go on my link tree. Y'all do see my playlist. My playlist is centered, my soul funk playlist, where I got all of the soul and the funk from the 70s and the 80s and the 60s on one playlist. A lot of you young motherfuckers be asking me, where do I get my funk from? I created a playlist to show you. My Incense and Ashtrays playlist right now on Spotify. That old school funk and soul. My sample packs on my live drum sample packs will be coming out soon. I'm actually having a meeting with the engineer today. I know I've been telling y'all about it. I've been laid the tracks down, but hey, musicians got to wait on engineers to finish doing what they do before we release what we got to do. So the engineers look like they're done with one of my packs, and so we're going to release, we're going to get together and come up with a release strategy today. So I'll have some more information on you with my live drum sample packs. I'm not the one to send the music to, but you can listen to my live drum sample packs and download them and buy them for your music. You dig? Bug Shelton said the NAACP stopped helping black in the 60s. I'll take that back to the NAACP stopped helping black people in the 1930s. I'll take it back then. Well, they'll give they gave some superficial help on top, but the help that they gave us didn't equate to the harm that they caused us underneath the help that they gave us on top. Because even though they may have had black people out front, when it came time to the 1960s and reparations and getting black people what they owed, it was the NAACP that helped the government come up with all these buzzwords and code words that ultimately undermined civil rights. And now black people, 60 years after the civil rights legislation was signed, benefit the least from civil rights, while other groups who weren't even here when that legislation was signed benefit the most. So I'd argue that the NAACP has caused more harm than they've caused good for about 100 years now. But yeah, I got a whole lot of going on. And people always ask me, I'm a drummer. I got 2 different podcasts. I'm a stand-up comedian. I own a company, Breakthrough Advocacy Services. I also own another company, Brown House LLC. How do we do all this and you still fat? Because a lot of y'all be listening to the wrong people. They told y'all fat people that smoke weed are just lazy. I challenge anybody listening to put your schedule next to mine and we'll find out who's lazy. Not only is my schedule intense, filled, and requires a lot of energy, it produces a lot of good. And through every broadcast that I give solutions. And I give a peek inside to how I fix these things. My webinars give you more detailed stuff, because everything ain't gonna be for free, homie. But yeah, I do all that. People be like, Dwan, well, you could still lose weight. Look, Buddha was fat. 25 years after the Buddha walked this planet, people will remember Buddha, not his skinny contemporaries. So if you're the kind of superficial person that looks at those type things and say, I can't take information from someone who is in this particular mold, then that's fine with me. Then don't listen. Go somewhere else. I have no issues with that. To each his own. But when you come around me telling me what I need to do in order for you to listen, I'm going to call your cap out, point out how full of shit you are. You really don't care about the help. You're just looking to feel good, and you want it to come from a certain package. If you're that kind of a person, then maybe I'm not the one to get the information from. That's fine. Go find a motherfucker with a 6-pack of abs in a shiny suit to tell you what you think you need to hear.
I'm not gonna wear a suit. I wear a sweatsuit, nigga. And I may be talking to you while I'm smoking a joint and just finished eating an apple pie. If you got a problem with that, then you got a problem with that. That's not my problem. You got to be yourself. You got to be you. DeAndre said, what do I think about Ebony Magazine? I don't think shit of Ebony. Ebony Magazine Ebony Magazine ain't been for black people since the 70s. Ebony Magazine is no different than MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, ABC News, Disney News, ESPN. It's all fake. It's all propaganda. It's all agenda driven. That's what I think about them. Mainstream publications have agendas that drive. Somebody said, I'm here eating apple pie right now. You goddamn right. I saw somebody say no time to exercise. Hell, if you don't think of exercise, I challenge anybody in here to let's go get on a bike and let's see who can go further on a bike. Me or you. Let's see who rides their bike from the beach, down the beach, from the airport to the Palisades and back, and let's see who gets there faster in that 20-mile bike ride. And then we'll say, because one thing I like about being a big dude, I never have been cool with superficial people. Me and superficial people never have really gotten along. And so I've always taken it as a personal enjoyment to be the person that smashes superficial theories left and right, top to bottom, up and down all day. I have personally enjoyed for coming up on 40 years being that person that just smashes all these little bullshit concoctions superficial people come up with in their head. Because at the end of the day, superficial people feel the need. They see a fat person as an easy target to mask and cover up their own vulnerabilities and insecurities. And this message is for everybody. If you're the person out there with 1 foot longer than the other, people who talk shit about that, they're doing it to mask their own issues. If you got a gap tooth and people have had a problem with that, they're doing that because there's a problem within themselves that they're unwilling to address. So they're going to address your problem that they feel is a problem. I personally don't see an issue with gap teeth. Now, you may crack a few jokes here and there. Ain't nothing wrong with jokes. But when you got people trying to tell you you need to change you, that is someone who feels the internal need to change themselves. They just don't have the courage to do so. So they project that insecurity onto you. Free game. I once had a drunk tell me I need to lose weight. I said, hold on. My issue, well, I don't see it as an issue because my blood pressure fine. My blood pressure is fine. I get a yearly physical. All my shit's fine on my physicals. So I don't have any issues physically. And I'll probably still beat you in basketball. You trying to tell me I need to change an issue that potentially only affects me, but you'll drink a whole eighth of Hennessy and then get behind a car and possibly kill everybody on the road. But you telling me what I need to change. That's why I don't listen to these superficial motherfuckers. You're right, 3J. Superficial motherfuckers are boring, have no depth. Oh, but look at my abs. Okay, look at them. Heart Tunez, you need some drums? Check out on my link tree. Whenever when my sample packs are up, I will let you guys know when my sample packs are up. I'm gonna have some live stuff. It's
Be dope as hell. Mo Black asked me what kind of bike do I have. I have a Sick, S-I-K-K. Go to, I think it was like sick.com, S-I-K-K.com. The most expensive bike that they have on there is the one I got. The big frame for big niggles. 4-inch thick tires. For people up to 6'8". I'm 6'2". So yeah. William Terry asked me, am I cool with Michael Rappaport? Hell no. Fuck Michael Rappaport. I blocked that. I deleted that motherfucker off my Twitter back in when he said that shit about Kenya Moore. Cause y'all know me. I watch Atlanta Housewives. I love that goddamn show. That show was hilarious to me. We all watch our bullshit. That's the bullshit that I watch. Again, Hotepish, Intelligent Ish Talk is home with the profound and the profane. Life is about balance. I don't watch too much bullshit TV, but the bullshit I do watch is the Housewives of Atlanta. That's just so goddamn funny. And I don't even like Kenya Moore. That bitch is always in people's, and she's the only one I would even call a bitch on that show. I don't like calling black women that word. But Kenya, oh my God, she's always into some shit. I can't stand Kenya. But I ain't gonna let no white man call her a monkey. My question is, white boy, why you up in women business? I like to watch the show to see a bunch of big booties swing around and pretty faces crack jokes and throw shade on each other. I watch that. Me and my wife, I got like people who are faithful listeners know, me and my wife will pop open a bottle of wine. We'll pop open an $80 bottle of wine, get some popcorn and some fruit and some crackers and drink wine and watch Housewives. That's my shit. But as a man, I don't get into woman business. Women's cattiness is women's cattiness. That's for women to deal with and solve. I'm just here to watch and laugh. When I see people like Michael Rappaport jumping in on women's cattiness as a white man, sit your clown ass down. Now he want to leak Kevin Durant's text messages on his inbox. But the shit didn't go the way he thought it was going to go. So now he's crying like a white male Karen. Fuck Michael Rappaport. Three J say you want to get part of that roast basketball league? Hey, that roast basketball league that we doing, that shit gonna be dope. Hit up Craig. Hit up the inbox on Craig's website. Y'all know Craig. I don't know. I can't think of his website off the top of my head. But yeah, we opening the league up. If you have a basketball team, you can join our league or put together a team. Get a uniform and join our league. We have a roast league coming out. And you will get national exposure. Because you know anything me and Craig do, that's just the world sees it. So you will get worldwide exposure. Agents and people like that will be looking at these games because these games are going to be so goddamn funny. You're going to get people looking at you. So put your team together and join our roast league. That's going to be fun. We got a lot of shit going on. You see, I do a lot of shit. And the whole point of my book is to help you figure out how you can too, if that's your desire. Yeah, you're right. Black folks need to know when to draw the line with white folks. I just saw a very bad joke written. I'm not even going to repeat. That joke was so goddamn terrible. I'm not even going to repeat that. Oh my God, that joke was terrible. How you going to spell a nigga name wrong and drop a bad joke? Come on, people. Make these jokes funny. If it's funny, I'll put it up on the screen and laugh at it. The league is going to be here in LA. The roast league that we have is going to be based here in Los Angeles. We are not going to be traveling around the country We do not have and1's budget. This is some black man who got other shit going on putting this together. The league will be here in LA. So yeah. Any other questions y'all got? Because I'm about to get I've been on here 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm about to get up out of here. Remember to go to my Incense and Ashtrays playlist. If you want to know where the funk and the soul resides, go to my playlist. Sample packs coming out soon. Go to my link tree, see the world of DwannBrown. Buy a t-shirt, buy a coffee mug. Download a sample pack. Live drums coming to you soon. And sign up for my webinar, No Time to Waste. On my book, No Time to Waste, a self-motivation guidebook. We're going to start with the motivation. We're going to teach you how to find the motivation. And then once you find the motivation, how to cultivate that motivation into actionable plans and steps for you to follow. That's what this is about. Y'all want to know what Dwann is doing to help solve the problem? I'm helping black people get in touch with the greatness that's within. Because each one teach one. As the collective finds its greatness within, individually, as individuals find that greatness within, they can then rejoin the collective with skills, ideas, and actions to benefit the whole. And when we come together like that, ain't a goddamn thing President Biden can do to stop us. Not Kamala Harris, fake ass, Trump, the police, the Department of Justice. None of these motherfuckers can stop a motivated group of black people who are cultivating their desires from within. They can stop you if you're asking them to do it. Of course they can. Because you're giving them the power when you ask them to do it. But when you take it upon yourself to do it, no matter how much racism is out there, you're going to find a way to get it done. And that's the truth. You dig? I appreciate that, Remy. I'm gonna keep the information coming. Ivor asked best sampling machine. I don't do sampling machines. I'm a live drummer. The drum packs you're gonna get from me is me actually playing an acoustic drum set, not a machine. Real music comes from the heart, not a computer. And I got tired of complaining about sampled music, so I said, fuck that shit. Let me go down and lay down some live tracks to make live music more accessible for aspiring and current music producers. Again, everything that Dwann has an issue with, I find a way to solve that shit and do it. Appreciate that one punchline. See y'all on Credit Facts later on today. Remember this. There are no perfect messengers. Only perfect messages for those who are willing to pick up the game. My name is Dwann B. We out.